to Above All Else, a podcast for women who are seeking to grow in their relationship with Jesus. I am Brianna Frajowski here with Jen Kish and Emily Bird. And ladies, it is a great day. How are you both this day? Emily, how is it going down south, further south?
We have been unbelievably busy the last few weeks, and I was telling you guys earlier. I went to bed last night at 10 minutes after 8. I haven't been to bed that early in years, but I have been a tired mama. But it's been such a good few weeks. We had VBS all last week, and there were 63 kids who accepted the Lord, and it was an incredible week. And this week, I've got 2 of my girls gone to camp, and we've had a lot of company staying with us for the last 3 weeks. But today, there is nothing on the calendar. And I'm so excited. So Aaron and I may go to the pool in a little while, and we needed a day of rest. So today I am great, but if you had asked me yesterday, I would tell you I'm dragging. But it's been all good stuff. So the Lord is good and He is gracious, and I'm so thankful that He's given us so many people to love on and to keep with us, and to see His hand in Bible school and what He did last week. So I'm joyful this morning, but even though I'm tired.
There you go. You can be both. There's room for both. It's okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, Jen, what about you? Oh, Jen, I can't hear you.
Sorry, I was on mute. We are good here. We have been actually taking it kind of easy this week, and we're getting ready to go to Greenville for the weekend. So I'm going to be packing the rest of the day and getting ready to travel. But things are good here. Nice, calm week at the Kish house. So I'm thrilled for that. Kids are going to camp next week. I'm sending 3 to camp. So at my house, we only have 3 kids here. I won't even know, and one's an adult, so only really 2 kids here. So I won't even know what to do with myself. But I'm looking forward.
That's so fun. That's exciting.
2 of my girls are in camp this week at Greenville as well. So that's where they are. Yeah, so they're having a great time.
That's awesome.
I guess y'all are so close to South Carolina now that it's like, oh, well, yay. Oh man. Well, and this week was busy in Indianapolis for the SBC. We love a good SBC convention. But Indianapolis was beautiful. It's the first time I'd ever been there. I've like driven around through that kind of thing. First time I'd ever been there. It was actually really nice. I mean, not that I thought it was going to be, just gross, but I'd never been there. And so today is actually the first day that we don't have anything on our schedule either. And so today is my catch up on all the laundry, clean out the garage. I've got some pretty lofty goals for today. That I might do one of those 2 things. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so it's exciting getting ready for going out of the country in a couple weeks on a mission trip. So
right,
just turning around and leaving once we come back. So well, so today is, I think, a much needed conversation. And I think an important conversation because I work with young adults and I teach 6th grade. And so I see these things every day. But today we're going to be talking a lot about phones, social media, those kinds of things. And as parents, as moms, as future parents, as grandparents, as women who know a child and desire for them to walk with the Lord, like, how do we navigate these waters? Because things have changed. So there was I can't remember where I heard it. It might have been a commercial. There's a good chance it was a commercial. But somebody said something about, like, in the next 5 years, 90% of everything you see online will be AI generated. And yeah, and as a science teacher, obviously I love that we can use AI for good things, for good things. Um, but we know that technology is just changing. It's different from when you guys were growing up. It's different from even 15 years ago when I was in high school. And it's a lot has changed.
Mm.
And so I think having a conversation about how we navigate these waters, once again, not just as parents, but as grandparents, as church members who are leading and serving with younger generations, like how do we do this? What do we need to know about each other, right? If we want to know, or if we want to best attack, not that social media is the enemy, it's just a tool that the enemy uses. um but if we best want to defend against it, we have to know, right? We have to know what the enemy is coming at us with. Jen, I know you have some pretty intense statistics about some social media applications. Can you just, I guess, start us off with those, and then we can kind of dive into how we navigate it. What does that mean for us? What does it look like for us? I hope that that's not too broad. I don't know. I'm just like, tell us all the things.
No, I got you. I got you. Well, cell phone use in children is something that I've been researching and writing about on my own blog for, I don't know, over 5 years now. It's always been something that has been a huge topic for me to study and learn about because I struggled so much with my own self with a cell phone, right? So I also think, Bree, this might be a good place to warn mamas that this content is going to be very different from our other podcasts. And if you are used to listening with your little kids in the room, that this may not be the podcast to play out loud. You might need earbuds or just to be aware of the content in this one. But I initially, years ago, I remember when, I don't know, this must have been in like 2012 or 13 or 14, that I became very aware of how much time I spent on my cell phone. And I had little babies, so it was my, like my nap time scroll or whatever. And at that time, it wasn't even the social media apps or the things that we are really going to be focusing on today. It was just pure addiction. It's just scrolling to see what everybody else is doing today. And it really was more social back then, to be completely honest. There was a lot of communication between my friends and my family. It was a lot more talking and interacting than just scrolling.
I agree.
That has changed, hasn't it? I
Mhm.
find myself now, even like I used to wonder, well, why does it, I wonder why people don't comment. And now I've even find myself that I'll just scroll and I'll read something and take in some information from a friend, but I won't even stop. So our even the way that we use it has changed.
Mhm.
So anyway, I became aware of my own overuse of my phone. And so that's when I began like digging into how are these phones changing us? And so more recently, I have begun to focus within the last 5 years is how it's changing our kids, how it's impacting the next generation, and the middle, like I guess your age group, Bree, like 30s, and then the kids that we're raising in our homes. And that's also, like you said, two very different things. So just from talking with mamas, I have a lot of opportunity to talk with moms online, because I write about this so much. And then I also have recently in the last couple weeks been talking to mamas face to face who are dealing with these very same things in their own houses. It's kind of like you always think it's out there in the world somewhere, but I'm going to tell you, it's right here with us. Like it is probably happening under your roof to some extent. And we don't say this in like a fear-mongering way. We just want to educate parents and help them understand, because I feel like mamas fall in two camps. There's probably a lot more, but in my mind, it's two camps. It's either they live in the my child would never camp, where
Mhm.
they think their child is sweet and honest and wholesome, and and I I mean, I'm just gonna tell you, sweet and honest and wholesome kids make mistakes too. And the kind of mistakes that they're making with cell phones are big ones. So if you're in that camp, I challenge you to make sure you're monitoring what your child might never do, just to be sure. And then the second camp is the mamas who are just completely out of touch with the tech. Like they hear the names of the platforms their kids are using, like CapCut and Snapchat and things that seem okay. But then when you start digging, I said CapCut, and that's like a video making app that one of my kids asked for. So I looked into it. Well, it's got TikTok embedded in it, and it's just photo editing. And they want to make videos with them and things. And it seems like, oh yeah, sure, I'd love for you to express your creativity in that way. But then you get in that app and you find out that they can scroll the reels the same as they could on TikTok. So there are just things that we need to be aware of embedded in all of these apps. So as far as the statistics go, we just Googled some of them to kind of make sure that we had a good understanding of what is actually happening with cell phones and kids. So this is statista.com. And again, we were just pulling this up here together and not like formally digging into tons of research. Okay, I had a whole listing of them. Of course, it's not here right this second. Bree, you want to give me a second? I don't know what you're gonna do, but give me a second.
For sure. Well, and I think that like you mentioned CapCut, and honestly, when you said that, I wasn't thinking, oh, you can scroll reels. I do know that TikTok, like when you go to make a TikTok, you can actually click a CapCut button. Right? Am I saying CapCut? That's what. Sorry, there's so many words that are coming out of my mouth right now. TikTok. I'm like, hold on, these are not real words that I use often daily. And so, like, I didn't realize that you could scroll the reels. I knew that I don't even want to use the word partner, because partner is, they do partner together, but it can be embedded, and it's such a what's the word I'm looking for? It's almost appears innocent, right? Like, oh, I'm just going to be making these videos and putting them together. I have students I know that do stop motion videos, and I love my sixth graders for their sweet stop motion. But knowing that they might be using CapCut to edit these videos now makes me nervous. Now I want to like call their parents and be like, "Hi, I love your kid enough to say, don't let them use this." When in reality, it's his sweet dinosaur stop motion that he's doing. Like, Lord forbid him be exposed to something in sixth grade that is not dinosaurs and stop motion, like such an innocent thing. And I don't know if you have your statistics. I'm sorry, I didn't want to keep talking. Sorry.
No, yeah, no, that's good. And you're right. And that is the thing, is that that is the education piece of it that we need, is that parents need to know what's embedded in the apps that their kids are using. So, and this is what is alarming to me, is that we know that your child may not be the one sending things, but what are they consuming while they are scrolling? So as fearful as I am for the children who are sending these pictures, these stats that I'm going to give you in a minute, I'm also concerned for the young teens who are scrolling, beginning to think what they're seeing is normal sexual behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're having a lot of just really perversion, and I mean, the whole world is in their hands. My husband says that we handed our kids a loaded weapon. That's how he describes a cell phone. And it's so true, because if it's not if it doesn't have some boundaries or some guards on it, they can access the entire world. But anyway, so just talking about what they are sending on platforms like through text messaging or Snapchat. It says at least 1 in 4 teens are receiving sexually explicit texts and emails. So 25%, right? That's astonishing to me. And this is not, it doesn't give us, it says the average age is 15 in this study. Participants ranged in age from 12 to 17. So this doesn't include, even like your 18, not college age.
Mm-hmm.
This is just teens. So 1 in 4. So 25% of 15-year-olds are sending nudes. 25%. At least 1 in 7 are sending, or I'm sorry, that was receiving. The 1 in 4 is receiving. 1 in 7 are sending.
That's insane.
More than 1 in 10 teens are forwarding sext or nudes without consent. So that means if your sweet little girl sends a picture to her boyfriend, then he could send that on to anybody he wants.
And I think it's important to say here that, I don't know, we'll talk about, but like Snapchat is one of these platforms where you can save things. They disappear only if you have your settings set up to make them disappear. The sender can send it to be available like infinitely, like that's an option. But you can also, let's say you send something to someone, they can save it. Do you get a notification about that? For sure. But what are you going to go, like, is your teenager going to come to you and be like, Mom, I sent this picture to this boy and he saved it? No.
Right.
Like,
right.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm a little,
and which that leads me to a question though, Bree, because you can also capture the image from a screen with another device and that person won't know. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, just take a picture of another screen. Yeah. It's like it's almost like taking a snapshot, but you didn't take it from your phone, so they don't know.
Right. So then there's no way to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then, so 1 in 10 are forwarding without consent, and then 1 in 12 teens have had their nudes or sex forwarded without their consent. So 1 in 10 are sending those without asking permission, and then 1 in 12 are having their own pictures sent without their consent. So one of the things it says that I think is this particular article that comes from healthcentral.com. It says when young people sext, they often lose control of the situation quickly. And I think that's the whole thing here, is recognizing that, hang on, my computer's going to die. It's recognizing that once that picture is out there, you no longer have any control over what it's being used for or where it's going, because those pictures can be sold. There was a school that I knew of that there was a ring of people who were encouraging guys to get pictures from girls, and they would get them and then they compiled them onto a what do you call the
USB?
Yes, a USB, and they were selling them.
Yep.
So these aren't pictures, the old pornography was pictures of girls you were never going to see, you were never going to know, they're out in Hollywood or somewhere. But these young men have access to pictures of the girls they walk the halls with. Yeah. This blows my mind that this is where we are in society. What have we done? What have we allowed? And again, not in the way that I don't want to make you fearful. I want to empower you to make sure that you are in charge of your child's cell phone use. I know that there are so many moms who say, well, but that's their privacy. No, cell phones are not private devices. It's not. I mean, even if you think, well, it's got my private information. Yes, but this is all public. What you're putting on social media or what you're sending to your friend, that's no longer private. A diary is private. Get your child a pen and paper. Let her have somewhere where she can write privately, but a cell phone is not a private device. It wasn't created for children. It was not created for privacy. And I am increasingly surprised by the number of parents who think that children deserve some sort of privacy when it comes to a cell phone, or they don't feel empowered to make decisions over their child's cell phone use. So that's, I'm going to toss it to Emily and find out some things that they do in their home, because I could soapbox, like this is my soapbox. I could be here all day. But we can make rules, can't we, Emily?
Oh, absolutely. The Lord has given He has given us authority over our children. That's the reason they are in our home. Excuse me. We I will say, number one, it's okay that your children are different from the rest of the crowd that they're around. Even though we homeschool, my children are different in the fact that they don't get cell phones until right before they turn 16. We usually try to, or the way we have done with our two older, and we plan on doing that with our two younger. They get their phone, their first phone, the Christmas before they turn 16. And that's before they start driving. And that is only if they have proven themselves responsible and trustworthy, and that they are showing adult behavior. Adeline has said for years that, and as she has gotten older, she said it over and over, kind of reaffirming to me and Jason Bird, once you get your cell phone, childhood is over. She says that over and over and over. Once you get your cell phone, childhood is done. Mama, keep Lindsay and Aaron young as long as you can. She's even on the side, and this is my 20-year-old speaking. She's even on the side. I think 15 and a half is too young. It is a lot for them to deal with. So that has been the set time that we give our children cell phones. However, once we give them to them, first of all, they have to pay for their phones. They have to pay their monthly bill, and they pay in a variety of ways. Jason Bird, he's a businessman. He used to get his shirts dry cleaned, and they would come back pressed, but and it cost $1 a shirt. So you've got $31 a month that he spends on shirts. I mean, that's of course including weekends, but Adeline would every day, she would get up and she would iron and press his shirts, and her bill was $29 and like 30 some cents. That's what it added to our. So every day she's ironing shirts to pay for her bill. Clara, the daily dishes became her work. And if they failed to iron that shirt, or they failed to wash their dishes, then they pay me $1 a day, or $2, or whatever the cost is. Clara's was a little more expensive. But so they have to pay for it. First of all, they have to take responsibility. Second, the rule is we constantly keep a check, okay? And we don't tell them when we're going to check. It's like, okay, give me your phone, and we look through all of their apps. We look through their text messaging. We still do that with Clara. She's 18, but she's in our home, and ever so often we just pick it up, and she's still on our bill. So it's technically still ours. And we don't do it as much as we used to. I have to tell you that. But she is, she doesn't balk. If you balk and you can't, they don't want to share, then we become more vigilant, and we're watching, we're looking more and more. But I also have to tell you a quick story. It's not just on cell phones. Our girls got tablets, or they got what is the Amazon, the
Fires.
Thank you. That's been a number of years ago. And we had all of our perimeters set up. We had our guards set up. Well, our net nanny, and that's the one we used for years, it went out, and I have to be honest with you, I hated Net Nanny because it was so incredibly strict, that, like, I was looking up, for example, I needed clip art for a cat. And I was looking up, I was like, clip art for a cat. I was teaching Lindsay to read. And anyways, it wouldn't bring up, oh no, it wasn't a cat, it was a dog. It was a dog. And it would not bring up dog because the word, and again, this I'm glad you prefaced doggy style was one of the ones that was a word that it would throw out. And so I could not look up certain things, and it was so frustrating. And so when our subscription died, I was like, oh, it's making life easier for me. However, that was also protecting my daughter's tablets. And when it went out, I had a daughter at around Halloween was started looking up Halloween costumes. And as she looked up Halloween costumes for her to dress up as Halloween, it brought up all kinds of other stuff. We had no idea that our daughter was seeing these things on her tablet. And so all we knew is that there was I mean, unbelievable change in her attitude, change in her behavior. And we couldn't figure out what caused this change. And so we began 2 weeks in of what is going on with her. Lord, you've got to reveal what has caused this change in her. Show us. I'm going through her room. I'm asking questions. And anyways, 2 weeks later, so we're a month after, or we're like 2 weeks after Halloween. So she had been looking like 2 weeks before Halloween. We're now mid-November. We've been praying, Lord, show us, reveal to us. And I pull up her tablet and I can see where things that she's seen. And it had a direct, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So immediately I called Jason Bird and like, look, you've got to see what I have found on her. And it wasn't anything hardcore, but for a little 9-year-old daughter who's never seen anything, who has been really truly protected, that it has come across her eyes, and she finds that, we're no different as Christians, how seeing those images, what it does to us, and how it sends endorphins and how it makes us feel. But there is also such guilt and shame that she has the Holy Spirit working within her, and she knows that it's not right. And so there is this battle going on in her sweet little mind for a whole month, and it's manifesting itself in her behavior. We know something's going on. And when we confronted her that afternoon, she just wept and wept and wept and was so thankful that the truth had come out. But I couldn't help but feel such guilt that I was glad that Net Nanny had gone to the wayside because it made my life easier. We have to be vigilant as parents to protect our children and to talk and to have these conversations. And I will say what she experienced then has continued to carry over. We continue, like there's still guilt and shame that she had to work through for many years. But I'm so grateful that the Lord revealed it. And how can a person stay on the path of purity? By living according to his word? We have to fight the devil with the word. These girls and boys that have been put into our homes, they have to know the truth of the word. That's the only way they stay pure. And we have to have really hard conversations. And when our children have failed, and because they don't have to go looking for it, the devil finds them. It's not like when we were kids and you had to go look for a pornographic magazine to find it. It's here and it is searching for us. It will find our children. We can't live under a rock and think that they're not going to be exposed. But we have to be such vigilant gatekeepers for if they have access to any device, whether it be a laptop, whether it be a cell phone, whether it be a tablet. We have to be vigilant, and and we can't always depend on those different what is Net Nanny?
Like a
like
browser
a filter,
protector.
or yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I
They have
can't
good
think of the
ones.
word I'm looking for right now. But we can't always depend on
Parental
that.
controls or things.
Parental control, thank you. That's the word I was trying to look for. We can't always, because our children, I know my girls are much smarter technologically than I am. And there was a dear friend, friends of ours, their family, their son, they would put up all these controls, and his job, he thought in his mind was, I'm going to overcome it. And every time he could do it. He was so smart, but he could get through all of those controls. So, but they had set up, they had such good conversations in the word and good conversations with him that he would go to them and say, I've got it. I've overcome it. So you need to figure out something else.
Wow.
Um, so, I think part of our protection just comes from having conversations, and number one, telling them why I'm not giving you a cell phone at this age, why I'm not allowing you to have social media until you are, for our home, it was 18. And I had my oldest daughter, she didn't want social media. She had seen what it had done with a lot of her friends and changing even the way they interacted with other friends. She did not, it was not a desirable thing. She does have some social media now because she realized after she got into college, a year after, it's hard to get to know people because this is the way everybody communicates now. It's not, hey, I know your number, let me send you a text. I find you on Instagram. I find you in, not even Facebook anymore. Facebook's for the old people. And so it's like, okay, she's on Instagram. Guess what? I'm going to be on Instagram too. So whatever space my children are in, I'm going to be there too. And I'm going to be looking at what they post. So I don't know if I really necessarily answered your question or not, but those are some things that we do. We don't put phones in rooms. They stay downstairs in the evenings. But mainly, our main guard is we just have a lot of conversations, and we're constantly in their space. This is not theirs. They are under our authority, and if they want to have this, then they know that I've got access to it too. So, but when things have come across that have been questionable, I'm so grateful that because of conversations that we've had in the past, they can come to us now. And that particular daughter who had that happen to her, she's very open with us, and she's also extremely protective. Like she does not want that, like, she knows what it did to her heart, what it did to her soul, and she's so vigilant to avoid any of that, that there is a fear, and she doesn't want to open Pandora's box again. So but I think a lot of it just comes from continually having open conversations with our children about what these things hold, and they are the world. We're putting the world in their hands. And if they're not ready to deal with that, a middle schooler is not ready to deal with that. An elementary kid is not ready to deal with that. Like Adeline says, once they get a phone, their childhood is officially over. And I agree with that. So
I love how you said, Emily, and Brie, I want to hear from you because you haven't shared anything, and I think your perspective is so important here. But I love how you said that your child thanked you, like they were glad that you found out,
mhm.
because I've had a child do that with me, and I think that that really shows that they want to be, they don't necessarily know how to come and confess it, but they want to be caught because they want the problem to be solved and they know that they can't
Mhm.
solve it. So
Mhm.
I love that you mentioned that because I think that gives you such a good picture of saying, yes, our kids want boundaries, they want guardrails, they need our help. We can't just be hands off and think that they can handle this. We need to walk
Mhm.
this road with them.
With
So
them.
anyway, I wanted to highlight that.
Um, well, and I think that a lot of what I have to share probably, um, we could, I feel like this is leading itself into a part two. I don't know. I feel like that. Because I think that we could probably go on for the next hour talking and sharing and just, I don't say raising awareness, but really that's what this is, right? Like parents need to be aware of what's happening. Like you said, you don't have to search out for things now. It is in the palm of your hand, and we're giving this to our kids and expecting them to be mature. And I'm going to stop there because I will go on a tangent, and I will save that for the next episode. But so here's what we'll do. We will pick up with part 2 of this conversation next week or in 2 weeks. And if you, I don't know, we didn't talk about this, but sorry, just throwing it all a curveball. But if you are listening right now and you're thinking like, I have all these questions, we are not unreachable. You can reach out on our Facebook page and send us questions that you have. If you have, hey, I'm struggling with this, my kid's doing this, we don't have all the answers to everything. But I think between the 3 of us and the Holy Spirit, we could definitely help to encourage and guide, and basically what this entire podcast was created for, right? To help us grow in our relationships with Jesus and ultimately point towards him above all else. And so if you have questions about anything in regards to technology or social media, between now and our next episode, or even after that, feel free to reach out to us on Facebook, and we will respond as we can. But yeah, I don't know. I know we didn't talk about that, but I feel like this leads to a lot of potential questions from parents, grandparents, volunteers in the church that are working with youth. And we'll talk a lot more about that next episode because I have a lot to say about that. But all right, ladies, well, it's been wonderful today, and we will talk to you guys all in 2 weeks.